Next, we talked to Tony Leone, owner and innkeeper of the Pasfield House in Springfield, about the history of one of the city's most popular landmarks, the Pasfield family's relationship with Abraham Lincoln, and the house's selection as the official Christmas ornament for the city of Springfield. This runs about 13 minutes.
Tony Leone, owner and innkeeper of the Pasfield House Inn. Thanks for joining us on the Illinois Channel. And we wanted to explore with you a little bit of the background of this historic building and what makes it so special. And what can you tell us about the Pasfield House and what should people know about it?
Well, the Pasfield House is an 1896 Georgian mansion. It was built by the grandson of George Pasfield on a 40-acre estate that 3 generations of Pasfields, George Pasfields, occupied during about 100 years in the early history of Springfield. There wasn't a major project that was involved in Springfield that the Pasfields weren't large investors and supporters of this town. They helped make it the capital and helped keep it the Illinois capital.
So now we think of Lincoln being instrumental in bringing the capital from Vandalia up to here. And what role, or how did the Pasfields work with Lincoln, or do you know the story?
They worked with Lincoln. Lincoln was their attorney. And Lincoln, of course, was a big supporter of getting the capital relocated here and cast the votes. But it was the Pasfields and a number of downtown business people. George Pasfield was here 10 years before Abraham Lincoln arrived, that put up the money to build the old state capitol. This was a private venture where it was not build it and they will come, it's if you come, we'll build it. And it was an offer that Lincoln and the Long Nine were able to sell. And it was part of the whole pork barrel process back then for projects throughout Illinois.
And the Pasfields were what? Were they manufacturers? Were they farmers? Or how did they make their money?
Well, Pasfield was originally an importer and set up the first grocery store, general store really, on the town square. And once the capital came here, Springfield boomed up from about 2,000 people to be a lot more people. When Springfield first became the capital, Chicago only had about 100 people. People wouldn't believe that, but it's the truth.
100?
Yes. It was Fort Dearborn, and you could get scalped if you got outside Fort Dearborn.
So how did you come to know about the Pasfield House, and what kind of condition was it in when you found it?
Well, it was pretty run down. It was dilapidated, tenement house, if you will, and we didn't know the history. Nobody around here knew the history. Here it is on Pasfield Street, but it was all but forgotten, but a few family members. I was able to get a young man that now has a doctorate degree with Purdue University that was working on his master's, and he did 2 years of research. And we found the Pasfields were involved in every major project for 100 years. And they were instrumental, not only, as I said, in getting the capital here, but George Jr., who built this house, was instrumental in keeping the capital here. By the time he was a businessman, he formed a group just kind of like his father belonged to, where investors put up money and they bought all the property to the south of the Capitol building. This would be the current Capitol building now. And he testified before the Illinois Senate, and the Senate allowed the Centennial building, now the Hallett building, to be built. It was property that the Pasfield group, it was called the Capital Expansion Association, had purchased and donated to the state of Illinois. When the Supreme Court built their building across the street from the Capitol, now you had 3 buildings. You had a Capitol complex. Pretty difficult to just say, let's pick up and leave Springfield. So they were instrumental in building the old state capitol, the Pasfields were, and in having the state build the Centennial Building and create a campus, and obviously the Capitol has been located in Springfield ever since.
So in the Hallett building and the Supreme Court building would have been, what, roughly around 1915, 1918 building?
Yes. Actually, the Centennial is 1918. We're coming up on the bicentennial, and I'm hoping maybe possibly dedicating the Armory building as the bicentennial building. But that's a far a dream of mine.
So you took this over, and it was pretty run down at the time, and you had to do extensive renovations. What possessed you to do that? Did you want to turn it into an inn, or was that an afterthought?
Well, I originally thought it would be an office for me and some apartments. The architecture, the Georgian style revival was beautiful, and we had good craftsmen recreate things and restore them back the way they were. But with the Presidential Library and Museum coming on board, we all of a sudden flipped it and became a bed and breakfast. And I've been an innkeeper. Most of that has been fun. I enjoy the people, but it's a lot of hard work.
Well, in your past life, you had worked in state government, right? You had worked with former Governor Ryan, and you had been, clerk of the House at one point?
I was clerk of the Illinois House of Representatives, served as clerk or assistant clerk for about 14 years. Loved that job. People kid me all the time. They said you couldn't leave the Capitol complex very far. Now you're adjacent to it with your inn. But that's kind of fun, and I've kept the relationships with the members and meet new members as they come in, and pretty much everybody remembers I was clerk of the House. George Ryan was the Speaker of the House when I was clerk, but I stayed as he went on through his career.
You know, as you look around the house, it just really, the renovation is remarkable, and it's really, I know I've been here at functions, and everyone remarks just how beautiful you've done the job of restoring this. And so now you have any number of receptions here, and I think, weddings at different times?
Yes, we have a boutique wedding garden. We have a number of legislative receptions during the session time, and other type of anniversary dinners and the stuff. You rent the place for an event, and then we have 6 rooms. They're all suites. They're beautifully appointed. They have their own kitchenettes. They have large bathrooms with jacuzzi tubs. And we have honeymoon couples, vacation people, certainly people that are interested in a little Illinois history coming here to the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Library and all the different historic sites we have here in Springfield.
Do you know how many square feet offhand?
Well, the footprint is 2,000, and we utilize all 4 floors, from the basement, which is partially walkout, to the first floor, the second floor. The third floor is a hipped roof, so it's not a total 2,000 square feet.
And I know you have, from time to time, legislative receptions, as we said, where you're just almost literally a stone's throw from the Capitol. And one of the things I know I'll always remember is I got to meet the actress Bo Derek of 10 here once.
Everybody remembers that.
She's hard to forget.
Yeah, she's a beautiful woman, and she couldn't have been, her personality couldn't be more beautiful. She stood there at the bottom of the stairs and shook everybody's hand, took pictures with everybody. She was advocating a piece of legislation here. She stayed with me 2 different times, and she was truly charming. And I was happy that she ultimately, the second session, was successful in her legislation.
Not to make it about Bo Derek, but what's her personality like?
Well, she was really charming. She had a bunch of handlers, so I didn't get to talk to her a long time, but she certainly was available to take the pictures. She knew she was the type of celebrity that will bring them here, and she had a number of animal rights advocates that were buttonholing people and trying to talk to them. So she worked it like a master.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you're going to look for a hook to get people to come to your reception and listen to your spiel, Bo Derek's a pretty good hook.
Yeah, she even brought a horse the first time she was here. Unbelievable.
And Tony, before we wrap up, I understand you actually have an announcement to make. That's kind of a very seasonal announcement.
Yeah, we're so excited. This year, the city of Springfield selected us as the official city ornament. For 22 years, For 22 years, they have picked city landmarks, including Lincoln's home, the state capitol, the old state capitol, Lincoln's tomb. And this year, they rolled around and picked the Pasfield House. And I'm so excited about it. Our ornament this year is beautiful. It's in color. And I understand sales, even this early, are going very, very well. All the proceeds go to St. Joseph's Home, which is a nursing home and Alzheimer's unit in the city. And they came up with this idea a number of years ago. Of course, you're familiar with the White House ornament and the United States Capitol ornament and all that. And
for those who don't know, every year the White House and the U.S. Capitol have an ornament similar in style as this ornament in which the Pasfield House is captured.
I don't know who was first, but Springfield's been doing it for 22 years, and I'm just as proud as anything. I've gotten a lot of historic preservation awards, but this is better than anything, my hometown Christmas ornament.
As you say, it's a fundraiser. Do you know what they retail for?
They retail this year for $32 a piece.
Okay.
That's gone up a little bit every year, and this year it's color, so I think they had to bump it up a couple bucks.
Kind of money you'd spend with nothing to show for it if you went out for a couple of beers, right?
Well, that's true, and I understand.
And here you can have it some to pass down to the grandchildren.
Well, I understand there's quite a bit of collectors that have the entire series, and we're hoping this will open it up to other people that are really interested in architectural detail, people that may be interested in early Springfield families, and this hopefully will start a tradition where more and more will become full-time collectors and collect them each year and make St. Joseph's Home even more money.
All right, well, Tony Leone, thanks again.
Thank you.
You're watching the Illinois Channel, an independent nonprofit corporation formed to provide gavel-to-gavel coverage of Illinois state government and other public affairs events taking place across Illinois.